I got this piece on Marketplace for a steal and I thought it would be a quick flip. When I picked up this piece, I thought it was just painted gold, but when I got there, the owner explained to me that it was gold leaf. I thought I could sand that off, and then I realized I needed to use a stripping agent. Sometimes the easy thing is not the easy thing. I spent some time stripping that gold leaf off, gave up, and then sanded it. I just needed to start with a smooth, non-porous surface because there was so much weirdness on this dresser. I decided to go in with DIY Paint Salvation Solution. This is a stain blocker, and it'll keep any weirdness coming through when I start to paint. So the Salvation Solution is all dry, and I'm gonna do a really fun blending process with a couple of the new colors. Going to put a base coat of this new color, Enchanted, which is like this yummy, yummy sagey green. And then we're going to do another coat and blend in this super fun lime green. This is one of my favorite colors of all time with the Eden. And then for a super fun top, I'm gonna use some dark wax, and I'm gonna use Flirtatious, and then a little bit of IOD. And oh, check this out, it even matches my shirt. I'm so excited to get started. I should have never said everything should go quickly now with this project, because after I started, everything went wrong, including this. The Eden is totally dry on the first coat. Now I'm gonna do another coat and start blending in the Electrified, which I am super excited about. It's gonna like kind of be an ombre effect, blending it up here. So I have a whole bunch of brushes here. As you can see, I like to have a lot of brushes on hand. So this is my main one that I'm using for the Eden. Then I'm gonna probably have this one also, which I will use for the Electrified, and then I will use some blending brushes. So I like to have a lot of the DIY paint brushes on hand. They are super, super soft, so you will get less brush marks, especially when you're blending paint, because there is no latex or acrylic in DIY paint. It blends beautifully. So let's move on to the next step. This project should be finished pretty quickly. I got sidetracked with Halloween being Taylor and Travis Kelce. Now that my base coat of the Eden is dry, I'm gonna do the next coat for blending. So I like to have the water bottle nearby, and I'm doing the bottom part with the Eden and then Electrified. Now I'm going to overlap those colors. This is when you need what you call your neutral brush. I like the multitasker for this. It blends beautifully. It's a big workhorse brush. Sometimes my dog Heath and me, we do like to sit around and just watch paint dry. I have my heat dryer nearby because you can speed up the process. I'm gonna layer these colors. You can tell that DIY paint is drying by when you get those light spots, but when you're blending, you might have to do 2 or 3 coats. If you're in a hurry and impatient like me, have a hairdryer nearby, but make sure that you move it around a lot, because if you hold it in one place too long, you could burn your furniture. I like using the heat gun too, because when it's totally dry, I can see where I need to layer up a little bit more, and I want to have a bright spot right in the middle where the light might shine on that flat plane. Also in the middle of this project, my car died, but I got this new set of wheels. My work here for the front is finished. As I sand it and soften it, and we're gonna add perhaps a little bit of dark wax to it, we're gonna definitely see a softening of this, but I wanted this to look really ethereal. I'm gonna move on to the top where we're gonna do that really fun hot pink color. I had to get some tree stuff done, and shout out to Green Lane Tree Service. They were super awesome. I had to stop my project, but they left everything cleaner than it was before. They even raked my leaves. If you live in the SF Bay Area, I highly recommend them. I'll leave a link in the description. Trees look amazing. Now I can work on the top of this piece. I'm using a little bit of Flirtatious. I'm using the Smoothie and the Perfectionist. I love using the Smoothie for flat tops like this. I like to start in the middle and brush all the way both sides. Keep that water bottle nearby. This is definitely gonna need probably 3 coats because I'm putting it on really thin. Then I use my Perfectionist, which has this cool pointy tip to go all around the edges. I am loving the way this turned out. The new colors, the Electrified is here, the Eden is here, and they blend together so perfectly. And on the top, I use Flirtatious. I have a half a can, mostly full, and about a half can left of each of these. So this only took literally a little more than 8 ounces to do this because it was so weird and had that weird finish. I definitely took more paint than it might normally, but just want to show you DIY paint is so highly pigmented pigmented. You can finish a medium to small piece of furniture like this with just one little 8-ounce because there's so much pigment in here. It dries really flat and it has a little nubby texture to it because it is clay based. So what I like to do is I like to take a piece of 320 grit sandpaper, I rip it in half, and then I fold it into thirds. And I just lightly go over the whole surface, smoothing it out. And you're gonna get like China smooth finish and get it ready for your top coat. If you want a little distressing, you can use a 220 grit. I just recommend you don't go too heavy on it, just around the corners, but you're gonna love it. It's gonna feel like a high-end expensive finish once you're finished with this. So let's do that next step. Remember 1985 where this piece started? Does this hairdo remind you of the 80s? I had so much product in my hair. I go really lightly over top with 320 grit sandpaper several times. I like to get it super smooth. Now I'm going to use a 220 grit sandpaper on the high points and the edges, around the trim at the bottom, places where naturally paint would wear off over time from people touching it and bumping up against it. It just gives your piece one more layer of authenticity and age. Then use a paper towel or a damp shot cloth and wipe the excess dust off. I also get really easily distracted by finding free trash. I found this in my neighbor's trash. How cool is that? Because I come from a firm belief that more is more, I am going to put some IOD transfers on the edge here. So I can't decide if I should use this one. I kind of want a whole garden theme going on here so you can see. Thought maybe it might be pretty to have it spreading out a little bit. I'm really liking this one. IOD transfers, they look like they're like a decal, but they're micro thin and they come with a sticky back. So when you're applying them, you want to make sure that your paint is very clean and dry. You want it really dry. So I have let this dry overnight. If there's moisture in there, you might have a little bit of a hard time with it adhering. If you have put a clear wax coat on, you definitely do not want to put a transfer on. Some people like to put their transfers on after they put a brush-on coat on. Personally, I like to put them on before. They go on really great with DIY paint. You just want to make sure the paint's really dry and clean and dust free. You can also do these on glass. I've seen people do them on fabric. I've done them on drop cloth. They're just so versatile and so fun. When you're ready to put your transfer down, take off the nonstick backing and then place it where you want it and smooth it down. It'll stick to it. Grab the enclosed burnishing stick that come with each transfer and working from one section to another, gently pull up. If you pull it up and there's still some transfer left on it, that's okay. Lay it back down and chances are it will release. On this piece, I did have a little bit of trouble, but that's what I get for probably working too fast. Luckily, I love layering the transfers and they layer together really well, and you can kind of cover up any little mistakes you may have made because you were in too much of a hurry. I just noticed my shirt matches the furniture. How cool is that? I love this color. The transfers where I want them. Now we need to finish this off. So DIY paint is super durable as is, but it's very flat and it's also very absorbent because it is an all natural paint and it's clay. It's gonna soak up any liquid that gets on it or oil from your fingers from the lanolin. I am using DIY paint clear wax, and then I'm going to do something new that I've not shown here before. I'm gonna add a little black wax. I know that sounds scary, but I really think the shading is gonna look really good. One thing to note, when you are using the clear wax, I'm gonna start putting it on here. Might have what we call the freak out factor. You can see it's really saturating the paint here, but it's also going to look like you might have ruined it. So it's going down deep into all the layers of paint. It's also gonna look a little bit weird. So don't worry, it's gonna dry and it's gonna be just perfect. And we're gonna buff it. So the reason I'm putting the clear wax on first before I'm putting black wax is that if you put, because we just talked about how absorbent it is, if you put a pigment on here and the black wax has a lot of black pigment in it, you're not gonna be able to move it around. So say I put too much here in one corner, you're kind of stuck with it because it's just gonna absorb into that paint. So you wanna put a barrier of clear wax down before you put on a wax with an enhancement color in it. And then if you get too much of that dark wax, black wax, even white wax on, you can actually go with your clear wax and just use it eraser. It kind of will pick that wax back up again. All kinds of cool stuff. So let's finish this up. I thought I would just use the pair of scissors that I had nearby to open this can of black wax. I didn't feel like getting up to get a paint key, and the scissors slid and sliced open my thumb. I wish I could say this is the first time something like this has happened, but it happens more often than it should. Once I was giving a dinner party and decided to use tin cans as a decoration, I was scraping off the leftover label with a razor blade and sliced open my thumb. I did this twice. In fact, I had to go to the emergency room both times, and the second time I did it, it was the same ER doctor 1 year later, and he remembered me. Even though I sliced open my thumbs, the dinner party came together really well. I'm adding black wax on the edges and doing some shadowing. I'm especially going around the detail area, the trim at the bottom, and I'm going to go down the leg, an area where it might naturally darken. I'm using a smaller brush to get the black wax and the details around the top, and then I'm going to do a little shading on the top just as I did the other piece. I like to have a paper towel or a shop rag nearby, and I wipe up the excess black wax as I'm going. This piece is finished, it's dry, I have to buff it and put the knobs on. Can you believe this is the after? I love the transformation. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, check out my supply list below, and I hope to see you soon.